Hi, this is Phil Newman from Longevity.Technology, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO of Longevity Events Limited and the founder of Longevity Summit Dublin, Martin O'D. Hey,
Hi
Martin.
Phil, how are you doing?
Yeah, great. So, obviously, now in its third year, what would you say makes Longevity Summit Dublin unique?
Um, yeah, so there's a number of kind of existing established conferences, I guess, on the roster, and then there's an awful lot of new events opening up, and I suppose quite a number of those are more on the wellness and health, lifestyle side of longevity, and among those that are more based on more medical interventions, I suppose. I'd suggest that Dublin leans towards the side of this spectrum that looks to challenge the hard questions around aging and the biology of aging. So I guess if it has an identity, it is that it is focused on the more difficult long term challenges that we face in this field. I mean, it is inclusive as well. It's not that you can be preclude everything to do with that spectrum. We do have things that are more based on the lower hanging fruit side of things, but the majority of it is based on the real challenges. And I think the way it's framed as well, Phil, excuse me, it's even when it looks at things like societal stuff and regulatory stuff, it's looking at through that lens. What do we need to do from now to get to the point where we bring aging under medical control eventually?
Yes, yeah. And now, of course, this forms part of your relationship with the Longevity Escape Velocity Foundation. So maybe can you just explain a little bit more about what the tie-in is there?
Sure. So they're the our partner and our main support or main sponsor for the event. And yeah, that's the marriage. I think is the focus of the LEV Foundation on and of its scientific head, who's essentially the scientific leader figure of this event. Aubrey de Grey is has been for a quarter of a century, I guess, focused on the really difficult, pre-investable, challenging elements of the biology of aging and how we bring those under control. So there's a kind of a happy marriage there, and Aubrey also looks after the programming for us. So the makeup, the teams, the speakers, which are you know constantly really really high caliber, possibly as high as you can get, I think, in those different areas. Would be under his kind of control or advisement as well.
So, Martin, there are obviously 4 days of very full days of very interesting content across all spans of the field of longevity science. So, obviously, some new stuff as well. What stands out as really areas of the agenda that are exciting for you?
Yeah, so this year we have a topic on female reproductive longevity and rejuvenation and health. So I think that's the area that has me the most excited for this event. It's incredibly important, I think, both societally and from the scientific perspective. It is underrepresented. It's under researched. A lot of studies don't include women. It's quite surprising how much of a bias there is. And I think it's fascinating in that it's an accelerated form of aging. The reproductive system ages maybe 30 years in the space of 2 or 3 years through menopause. So it's very interesting from an intervention perspective, but it's also societally just fascinating and important. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think we've got some exceptional speakers in that section. And for us, it's new, a new topic, and we're going to have a really exciting panel as well at the end of those talks. So yeah, I think that's probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most. A lot of things around exceptional individuals talking around regulation and also political involvement that I think would be really exciting as well. And also AI is being very strongly discussed as well this year.
Yeah, and I guess you've also got Dr. Michael Sook, who's chair of the American Medical Association. That's quite a big speaker you bagged
Yeah,
there.
no, we're delighted. Michael is, yeah, he becomes the chair on the 1st of June. So he spoke with us last year when as the incumbent and, sorry, as the coming chair. And yeah, I mean, it's a very, very important position, and it's a very important position to have represented. Michael is also just a gentleman, a really, really nice guy. I think I had the good fortune of having a couple of conversations with him last year, and he's absolutely gets the value of the preventive side of longevity. So, as we always say, longevity is a spectrum from living healthily at the moment to looking at fairly deep interventions and bringing aging under medical control. But it's not a one or the other game. There are gains as you go along, and at the very least, I think large organizations like the AMA acknowledging the boosts in prevention that are available through the science that we're promoting is incredibly important. Like this is something that could move billions of dollars in a country like the US, because there is so much money spent on chronic disease management as opposed to trying to focus on damage repair and extending the healthy part of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, obviously there are $3 trillion a year in the USA, and 90% of that goes on diseases of
Yeah.
aging. So, obviously Michael's leading quite a big charge into the industry that we're all very much part of. So Martin, let me just ask you about the ticketing. Obviously, I know that tickets are moving quite fast. What's the ability of people to get tickets now? I mean, they're still
Yeah, no,
available.
you can still get tickets. It is very exciting. We're really looking forward to it. It's filling up quite nicely. But it's we have a degree of kind of flexibility in the scale and size of the room that we can build. So absolutely, people can get tickets. There is a number of offers coming up as well, just to incentivize people. It's an expensive event to some extent, but it's a kind of a big show that's put on. And yeah, we think for the experience as well. It's great content, but it's also we like to think that it's a nice experience. With the gala dinner and the open bars and everything else. We try to make it a social event, and yeah, I think that's important. I mean, we want to enjoy life while we're trying to elongate it, but also undoubtedly the beauty of this industry is that it's not like a traditional big industry just yet. It doesn't have the five or six big organizations, and it doesn't have the NDAs, crawling out of everybody's pocket. Where a lot of events would be people, discussing golf and nothing else because they're under NDAs, not discussing their work. This is an event where people can literally meet, ask each other what they're doing, and 6 months later you find that they're working together, because there's a shared kind of mission. And the way that really happens is in the social interaction. So we focus very much on that, and we put a lot of effort and money into making sure that that's a great experience, because we think it's very valuable. We think it's what moves this industry forward.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a fun event. It's a very informative event, and very much looking forward to joining you in Dublin in June, Martin. So thanks very much for joining
Super,
us
Phil.
today.
Can't wait to have you.